In this video, I'll show you how to sew one amigurumi piece onto another. So when you sew one amigurumi piece to another, the basic concept is that you're going to use the yarn tail from the piece that's going to be sewn on to the other to attach that piece to the other. And you're going to do that by sewing on every single stitch that's remaining in the rim of this new piece and matching it up with a hole on the piece that it's being sewn onto. So let's say I want to attach this beak over here. I place it where I want it to get sewn onto, and then I take a look at where the yarn tail is coming out of. I need to find the equivalent spot on the blue piece to stick my needle into. I want it to be right under where the yarn tail is coming out of. So I'm going to put it in this hole here, and I'm going to follow the curve of this orange piece. So I'm going to stick my needle in right where the yarn tail comes out of and bring the needle up, one round up, following the curve of this orange piece, and pull tight. Now I want to bring my needle up under the next stitch of the beak, always moving in this bottom up direction here, and I want it to match up with where the yarn tail is currently coming out of the blue piece. So like here, and pull tight. Now I'm gonna go back into exactly the same hole that the yarn tail just came out of, the blue piece, and then pull the needle one stitch over, again following the curve of this orange piece, and pull tight. And see how cleanly this is getting sewn on? You can barely even tell that it's being sewn on by doing this method. All right, now I need to put my needle under the next available V on the orange piece that matches up to where the yarn tail was coming out of the blue piece, and pull tight. Then stick the needle back into the same hole that it just came out of on the blue piece, and move one stitch over, again following the curve of where the next stitch on the orange piece would be. And I'm going to go all the way around until I have sewn every stitch on the orange piece to this blue one. So now I've finished sewing every possible stitch on the orange piece onto the blue piece. And all I gotta do now is hide this yarn tail to secure it all. So I'm gonna stick my needle back in the same hole that the yarn tail is coming out of and push it through the entire piece so that the yarn tail gets stuck in the stuffing, and pull tight. And in this case, I have a pretty long yarn tail still, so I actually like to stick it into the same hole the yarn tail's coming out of again, and pull it out somewhere else on the piece to get it extra stuck. And now I'm going to cut this yarn tail as close as possible to the surface of the piece. And since you can still see a bit of the tail, all you gotta do is massage the piece until that tail disappears. And now you've successfully sewn on one piece to another.